Hello, it's Pete and Corinne here.
And welcome to the Primary Music Show.
Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about 6 easy music theory ideas that you can understand today. Hopefully.
But if you don't quite understand them today, you can always ask us a question in our Facebook group. That was a great link, wasn't
Good
it?
segue there.
Yeah, thank you so much. But our Facebook group, come join us. You can just head over to any browser and type in theprimarymusic.group. Come and ask us a question. Come say hello to all the amazing teachers in there already.
Any browser?
Any browser, yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. Even Bing.
Firefox. Bing is not a browser, that's a search engine.
I thought it was the same thing. Is it not?
No.
Oh, God.
A browser's like Chrome.
Oh.
Or...
That's Google. Okay.
Google Chrome
This
is a browser. Google is a search engine.
Ah, see, I'm learning already.
Have you watched the IT Crowd?
Yes.
You're Jen right now.
This is the internet. I'm learning already. You heard it from the man himself. The man who never ever has a guitar pick when he needs one. Peter Jenkins.
You heard it from the woman herself who gave me 10 guitar picks with one of our best friends' face very nicely printed directly on them.
I know, I wish you had one to show in the camera, that would be great.
Yeah, true, they are in my bag, but that would involve standing up. And,
No, don't worry about it.
They are amazing. You'll have to take my word for it.
Yeah, it was funny. We'll put a picture on later.
Yes, perfect.
Should we get on with it, Pete?
Yeah, let's do it. Stretch to the sky! Stretch to the floor!
That's staying in.
Yeah.
All right, 6 easy music theory ideas. They're not really ideas, are they? They're kind of, they're not really conceptual. They're sort of...
Yeah, they're music theory elements. You can understand today. So major, minor, time signatures, clefs, scales, octaves, tones and semitones.
There we go.
Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, absolutely. Nailed it in one. Yeah, any questions, don't bother sending us a message.
So, major and minor.
I'll give you an easy one for this.
Yeah.
Okay. Major, happy. Minor, sad. Done.
Yeah, that is a pretty good way of thinking about it. So to go into a tiny bit more detail.
No more detail needed. No more detail needed. Next subject.
So major is any kind of music that sounds happy or bright or maybe jolly. Might be a good way to think about it as well. So kind of a lot of cheesy pop is in a major key.
Yeah.
Minor, kind of the sadder side of music.
Or unsettled, or, but this is how it sounds. It's not necessarily the actual theory behind it. If you were going to get into the theory behind it, it's all to do with a third.
So what's a third?
Well, wouldn't you like to know?
I would. That's why I asked the question.
Because to explain that, we've then got to explain tones and semitones.
We do. Maybe these are in a bad order.
Yeah. Because you have to understand what a semitone is to be able to understand the difference between the thirds. And then you also have to understand scales.
So what we've done here is we've
ourselves.
Said a random music theory element, major and minor, and then we've said a lot more, and we haven't gone into any detail about what they are, but we've just confused every single listener who's out there. So that's really good.
That's why I said let's leave it there.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so we're going to move the order then.
Okay.
This is flexible.
It's flexible, but a good way of easily remembering if something is major or minor is just listening to how it sounds.
Yeah.
That's a good way of remembering
major,
it.
Happy.
That's not
minor,
necessarily
sad.
Yeah, that's not necessarily explaining as to why it's that.
But we'll get to that.
Get to the why.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so let's move on from that. We'll come back. We'll swing back to it.
So I think we should now go to scales then.
I was going to go to time signatures, but all right.
Okay, let's go to time signatures then.
Okay.
Now you can, overridden. Carry on. Time signatures.
Sorry, I didn't realise this was a dictatorship. Okay, right. Time signatures, Pete.
Time signatures, Corinne.
Well, this is the thing where we have to like try and explain things in 15 seconds, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
That's where those explanations would come in. So the best way I think I could describe time signatures is it's a rule.
Yes, in music. So music is generally the most famous time signature used is 4/4, and you'll see that in a lot of music. You can hear it in a lot of music, and anytime you're listening to music and you can count along 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 throughout the whole thing is probably in 4/4, and that just means the last 4 I said there means that there are 4 beats in every bar.
What's a bar?
That's a good question, Corinne. So 4 beats in every bar. A bar.
What's this?
I'm trying to describe it.
To who? The computer screen.
We should relabel this podcast 6 Easy Music Theories Not Really Described.
That we can't explain.
Okay.
Right.
So what's a bar, Corinne?
A bar is like a block of beats.
What's a beat?
Now, come on. Let's at least assume that these people know what a beat is. Come on.
Yeah.
So, right, let's just ignore Pete's explanation. I feel like he explained it in a really weird way.
Shall I go?
No, don't leave. Okay, time signatures. It's a rule. Okay, every piece of music has to be in a certain time signature or have multiple time signatures. And all this is basically what groups we count in. So common time signatures are 4/4, 3/4, 2/2, 6/8, 12/8, etc. Now, what this means, if it's in 4/4, it's that you count in groups of 4. So as people are saying, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So every single time the piece is played, it's always in groups of 4. If it's in 3/4, you count in groups of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that just means that there can only be that amount of beats in every bar. You can't go over that. You have to fill it with something, whether or not that be a rest, so you can go under it, but it can't go over that amount of beats. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So it's all about it making sense as a piece.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, and you write that at the start. If you're talking about written music, you write it at the start of a piece of music, and you'll see that if you look at kind of any music, just Google a score or something. At the start, you'll see probably a 4 with a 4 underneath it, but that could be, as Corinne said, 3/4. It could be 6/4, 6/8, anything really.
Yeah, and the top number always means how many beats are in the bar.
Yeah.
Now, what does the bottom number mean, Pete?
So the bottom number is referring to how long each beat lasts. So it is in 4/4, we're saying that there are 4 crotchets in each bar, and a crotchet is basically just
one beat pulses.
A note that lasts for one whole beat. Now, if I was to say 4/8, for instance, the bottom number has now changed from 4 to 8, which means we're now saying that there are 4 quavers in every bar,
which are worth half of crotchets.
Yeah, and a quaver is worth half a beat, whereas a crotchet was worth 1 beat.
Yeah.
So that kind of just goes down and down. So after that, you'd have 4/16 if you wanted to go down there.
Really?
That would be 4 semiquavers.
Yeah.
In a bar? Yeah. So 4 semiquavers in a bar, which are worth a quarter of a beat. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
That is correct. Yeah. A quarter of a beat. Okay. So basically, time signatures, the top number means how many beats are in every bar, and the bottom number is what kind of note
we're counting
in.
Yeah. Yeah. But the main thing that you're ever going to really need is the top number.
Yes.
For primary teachers.
Yes, and a lot of the music you will teach will just be in 4/4.
Yeah, 4/4 or 3/4.
Yes, yeah. So a 3/4 is the famous waltz.
Yeah,
So that is
yeah.
the
Waltz,
1, 2, 3,
1,
1,
2.
2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, which is kind of. It's a dance.
It's a waltz, yeah.
Whereas 4/4 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. As we've done, that's about the 4th time we've done that.
Well,
but it's a rule. Time signatures are a rule, and that's why they're at the beginning of the piece, and we've just followed them for direction of how to count
Yes.
and keep time.
Yeah. I think that was actually not a bad explanation.
It was a
in the
very
end.
long-winded explanation, but we got there.
It was, yeah, true, yeah. If you want a proper explanation, I think we have actually done a video on this.
Yes, we have, yeah.
Where we actually wrote a script.
And condensed it down
Yeah.
to be as simple as possible.
So check themusicalme.com if you do want a proper explanation somewhere. So the next thing we've got here is, do you want to do clefs?
Clefs?
Clefs.
I did time signatures because you tried and then it didn't work.
Well, you said it didn't work. You didn't quite let me finish. So, okay, so clefs. Clefs basically are, so if you've got a piano and there are, how many notes are on a piano?
88.
88 notes.
That's music theory right there.
There are 88 notes on
a full size
standard size
yeah.
piano. Okay, but if we're looking at written music, we cannot fit 88 notes on a normal stave.
That would be a lot.
That would be a lot of notes. So what we do to break that down is we break it up into 2 sections. We've got the treble clef, which you could think of as the right hand of a piano or the higher end of a piano, so all of your higher notes. And we've also got the left hand of a piano, which we would represent using the bass clef.
Yes, it's half and half.
Yeah.
It's basically so that the notes are split up between 2 halves.
Yeah.
So lower notes in the bass clef, higher notes on the right hand side of a piano in the treble clef, and they all but joined together by middle C.
Yeah, and middle C is...
It's the middle C on a piano.
Yeah, so it's the C closest to the middle of the piano.
Yeah.
And you can write that in both treble clef and bass clef, and it goes in the middle of the 2.
Yeah. So if you have a lower instrument, so an instrument that tends to use lower notes, like the tuba, or if you then you would use bass guitar, then they would be written in bass clef. Otherwise, they'd be, if you tried to put them in treble clef, it just wouldn't work because you wouldn't.
They'd be really low down.
Really low down on the stave.
With loads of lines above it.
It would just be very confusing.
Yeah.
So we put them in the bass clef just to make it easier. Treble clef instruments, lots of them. Violin.
Yeah.
Flute. Anything that's kind of got a slightly higher pitch.
So how would you think about a treble clef? What does it actually look like at the start of music? It's that flick, isn't it?
How on earth am I supposed to explain that without drawing it?
The difference between that...
How am I supposed to explain that? Please tell me.
So the treble clef is the one that looks like a circle at the bottom, and then it flicks up, and then it goes back down again. Okay.
It's the fancy one. It's like a spiral with like an extra bit on the end.
Exactly.
And then the bass clef is just the one that has 2 dots.
Yes.
It's also slightly more open spiral, but it's got 2 dots on it. So if you're not sure, if it's not got any dots on it, it's probably a treble clef.
Yes, that's a good way of thinking about it. Yeah, I like it.
Try and explain what a treble clef looks like. Ridiculous.
You can Google that.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Scales.
Okay. So music is always written in, it may move between a few, but it's always written in a key. Now a key is kind of...
Actually, I think we need to talk about tones and semitones first.
I've already started
I know, but I'm just thinking, like, scales, tone, semitone.
Yeah, true. Yeah, fair enough. I wasn't going into that much.
Oh, you weren't going? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
No, carry on. Ignore me.
So...
You usually do.
I've forgotten where I'm up to now. Okay, so a scale. If we started on any note on a piano and went from, so for instance, if I played a C, so let's say we're starting at middle C. Okay, so the C closest to the middle of the piano. If I went up from there and I went C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, That is 8 notes to get you from one C to another C.
It's a ascending pattern of notes.
Yeah, so it's an ascending pattern of notes. And a scale...
Or a descending pattern of notes.
Yeah, so the scale is that pattern of the notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That could be anything.
Yeah,
You know,
so
because
could
anything
start
is
on
a scale.
You could start on any note on the piano,
Yeah.
go up to the next note of the same note name, and you get...
Well, I don't think it doesn't have to go up to the same note to be a scale. It doesn't have to go up 8 notes to be a scale.
No, that's true. Not in the normal sense, I guess. Yeah, okay.
You could go up 5 notes and it would still be a scale.
Yeah, true. Yeah, fair enough.
You know, it's where the whole term like he scaled the building comes from.
Go up.
Up. Yeah, it climbs.
But you can also go down a scale.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it's just a
Descend.
it's ascending and descending notes essentially.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you can have a run or a riff in singing and that would just be a scale but in an alternative pattern.
Yeah. Yep. And that leads very nicely on to our next point, doesn't it?
Octaves!
Which is octaves. So, how do you describe an octave, Corinne?
Octave, same note, 8 notes apart, or same note but double its frequency.
Yeah, that is very, very good way of doing it. So C...
Drop the mic.
So C, going up that scale, which you just talked about, to get to another C. That C and the higher C are an octave apart because they're the same note.
So octagon, 8-sided shape, octave, 8 note separation.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Easy way of remembering it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way of doing it. Mm-hmm. And that can go right up. And yeah, as you said, the frequency doubles when you get to
it's
the next
higher
note,
up, or you know, halves if you're going down an octave.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
So you could go from a D to a D, or a G to a G. Any of those are all octaves.
Nice.
Tones and semitones, Pete.
Tones and semitones.
Explain it to me.
Okay, so we were talking about the scale before, and that pattern of going from C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C to get up to the next C, which we now know is called an octave. Okay, but on a piano, if we're going from a C, which is the bottom, let's just say we know where middle C is. Okay, and next to it, there is a black note just above it, okay? And that is C to C sharp. So to find a C on a piano you probably have to say this, don't you? To find a C on a piano, you need to look for 2 black notes together. And we call them the chopsticks to make it easier for children to remember. So the chopsticks on a piano are the 2 black notes together, and there's only the certain set of them. And so if you find 2 black notes, not 3 black notes together, you will find that the note below the lowest black note there is a C.
Because chopsticks begins with the letter C.
Thank you for pointing that out.
That's all right.
I appreciate that. Okay, so now we found our C. If we go up to the next black note just next to it...
I feel like I'm in one of Pete's primary lessons right now. He's going full teacher mode.
I am. I really have to do like hand signals to even say anything. And it's really hard to do it without a piano. I'd just get a piano out and I'd be like, there. It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so... you've distracted me now. Okay, so we've gone from a C to the next black note next to it, which is a C sharp. Okay, we call that a semitone. Okay,
it's a half step.
It's a half step or a half tone. Okay, now if we went from the C up a semitone to the C sharp, and then did another semitone after that from the C sharp to the D next to it, which is the next white note on a piano, that is now 2 semitones. So that is what we call a tone. So a tone is 2 semitones put together. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I can see in your mind, you're like, am I explaining this in the easiest way possible? Is this understandable?
I think we got there.
I think you did, yeah. So easy way of remembering it, a tone is a whole step. So for example, from a C to a D, and then a semitone is a half step. But there are a few exceptions. So on a piano, you'll notice between the notes B and C, there is no black note there, and also between the notes of E and F, there is no black note there, which means that the transition between E and F and B and C is a semitone, because you have to have a half. You go moving in halves. So if there's no black note there, then that means that is a half itself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Famous one that uses semitones is the Jaws theme tune.
Yeah.
You know, the da-dum, da-dum.
Da-dum.
We should just cut to the Jaws theme tune there. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Put it on the screen.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Lovely.
There you go. Tones and semitones.
There we go. So I think that is 6 easy music theory ideas that you can understand today.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I'm so sorry. We may have confused you more, but hopefully not.
Hopefully you found it at least entertaining.
Yeah, if not anything, but entertaining. I found it entertaining.
I loved it. Yeah, it's really, really good.
You know.
And I think it's time for your quiz, isn't it, really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, should we have a little game?
Go on then.
Okay, so today we're going to do something a little bit different because we're doing music theory. And I'm going to get a piano out on the phone.
Okay.
So here's piano. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to play 2 notes.
Okay.
And Corinne has to tell me the interval between the 2 notes. Okay?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We didn't describe intervals in this thing.
Basically, the distance between the 2 notes.
Hey, this is a good way. So, C, 1 up, C sharp, semitone. Another semitone from there.
Oh, that sounded awful.
Up to a D, full tone.
There we go.
There you go, see? Much easier with a piano. Okay, so, we'll start with an easy one.
1. A semitone.
A semitone! Whey!
That's not even really an interval.
It is an interval.
Okay.
It's an interval of a semitone.
All right.
Okay.
Two. A tone.
A tone!
A second.
There you go. We've covered the basics.
All right. Let's give me something more hard.
Okay.
Come on. 3.
3. So that is third. So that was a C to an E, which is 3-note difference.
5.
5. So that was a C to a G, which is a 5-note difference.
4.
4. Well done. So that was a C to an F, a 4-note difference.
6.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I had to check. Yeah, so a C to an A. Well done. Okay, and then let's do one more.
7.
7. A C to a B. So what would the next one be?
8.
Which is?
8.
Which
Octave.
is an octave.
There you go.
There you go. See, that game was informative as well.
It's actually quite easy for me, but
Yeah, well, that's fine, isn't
started
it?
getting to
You did do really well.
process of elimination by the end.
You are a singing teacher, to be fair.
What can I say?
Yeah, fair enough. Well done. Well done.
But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and
Do come and ask us some questions.
I'm sure you've probably got many.
In the Facebook group, the primarymusic.group, and we'll be there to help you out.
See you next time.
See you later. Bye.
Come say hello. Come say be hello. In the know. Be with in the Primary Music Show.